Just finished eating some breakfast, courtesy of Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin', not sponsored. Just consuming a little bit of YouTube content on basically how to grow a YouTube channel, essentially. Usually that's kind of my routine, is if I'm sitting down eating and I don't really have a lot that I'm doing during those times, because it's kind of like a meal break, then I'll sit down and I will consume some content on YouTube on personal growth, business growth, video tips and tricks and tutorials and things like that, just to kind of redeem that time while I'm eating, because I don't have to do anything. I just sit there and eat and watch the video. Productivity, it's great. So I'm just sitting here working on this wedding video. It's actually my best friend's wedding video. I got the pleasure to film he and his wife's wedding, and that was such an incredible experience just to be able to do that for them. But yeah, the way that I filmed this video, as I was talking with them on the style of what they wanted, this is much more of a documentary style format and less of a sort of like cinematic, dramatic, slow-mo, film-esque wedding video. It's definitely still high quality for sure, but it's just the way that it was filmed and the style of those shots is a little bit different from the wedding videos that I normally do and what clients normally want. So yeah, if you want to see my home editing studio setup, there it is. HDMIing my MacBook 2015 to this 50? I don't know how big this TV is, but essentially it's a Roku TV, 4K display. It's not really for editing purposes, but it was in our living room, and we have a small apartment. So to be able to fit a desk in here was a little bit of a challenge. And this is my workaround to be able to work from home. This is the place where it all happens. And if you like this nice soft lighting on my face, this light that I'm using is the Releno soft LED panel. I got this off of Amazon. I think it was like $50, and it works pretty great for me. There's a lot of people out there that might be curious to know how I edit my wedding films. They might be curious to know what I use to film weddings, sort of the behind the scenes process of what goes into producing a wedding video. And what I would say to you is what you use to film a wedding video, or any video for that matter, the way that I look at it is less important than how the story is put together. The camera is just a way to capture that. It's just a means to an end. Editing is where things really take shape and take form, and depending on what story you're wanting to tell, what you use to capture that story might be less important in certain scenarios. For me, editing is where the rubber meets the road, and I take filming very seriously, but this just goes to show how important the process of editing is for me. So for me, when I'm editing a wedding video, a lot of times I will get all the footage that I've recorded over multiple cards, and I will label them in a folder, you know, card 1, card 2, card 3. I'll put them under the folder of my camera name. And so when you go on my hard drive and you click on the camera, it pulls open, you know, card 1, card 2, card 3, all the different cards that have the footage on them. Then I will drag those over into my editing software, which I use Final Cut Pro. So once I get all the clips in there, I will then look through chronologically, and usually I edit along a timeline of the events that occurred. So if I get to the venue, I'll get some establishing shots of the chairs, of sort of just like a background shot, so that I will use those as my establishers. Those are called establishing shots, and I'll usually put titles over them in the beginning. So for this video, I'll put the wedding of, and then put the couple and put their names in there, and I'll use those establisher shots as backgrounds for the text intro for the video. Then I pretty much just go from there to what happens chronologically on that day. And usually I stick to a pretty strict schedule of events of what happened, and I might switch a couple of things around here and there depending on how the footage came out, or if I have to cut a certain section out, or you know what makes more sense telling the story. And so that's normally how I edit, is I edit very chronologically. I mean, you're capturing a day. You know, usually when you go to film a wedding, you're capturing someone's entire day. For me, it just makes the most sense to edit that in a chronological order of what really happened on that day, so that when you give this video, this edited film, to the bride and groom, they can watch the video from start to finish, you know, kind of like rewatching the day, like it's a glimpse of their day from start to finish. Also, anytime I'm editing, I usually have to sip on some coffee. Kind of just helps the edit come out a little bit smoother. Acts as a editing laxative. That right there was a little bit TMI, sorry. So super important whenever you're filming a wedding, and editing the video, producing everything yourself, it's always best to check with the bride and groom-to-be and ask them what style of video they're wanting. Because you can produce a wedding video that's just like every other video out there, slow motion, slow pan, dramatic shots. That's kind of what the norm is, but not necessarily every couple wants that. And if you don't ask them and you just go your own direction, then it might not turn out the way that they want. You know, some people are really particular about a certain style of video that they want. And if they are, then they'll probably let you know that. But it's just always best to go ahead and check with the bride and groom and ask them in advance not only what style of video they want, but also what style of music, and ask them to give you a list of potential songs or stylistically like examples of music that they would like in their video. Knowing the style of music that you're going to be putting in the video, that can help inform how you edit. You know, if it's a slow romantic song, then you know that you're probably going to be producing a wedding video that is your sort of stereotypical generic slow cinematic, you know, slow sequence wedding video. But if it's an upbeat song, then you're probably gonna be producing something a little more like what I'm doing. So unless you're at the point where you're charging, you know, $5,000 per wedding film or $10,000 per wedding film, then you probably want to do them due diligence to just ask what they want and don't try to be a hotshot. I hope this little vlog entry video was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to use my contact page and contact me via text or email or whatever suits your fancy, and let me know your questions, let me know your thoughts and concerns. Love to hear from you guys. Check me out on YouTube. I've left a link for my channel on my website, so if you just go to the contact page and click on that link, it'll take you straight to it. So yeah, check me out there. Appreciate you guys' support, and if you are a filmmaker and you've made it to the end of this video, I appreciate your dedication, and I have really high hopes for you. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.